Chapter 19, Part 2. The first snow fell early in September, as it usually did in the mountains of the Wyoming Territory. It stayed on the ground only a few days, though. A warm spell came, but everyone knew it wouldn't last. Winter was close at hand. Before long, the mountains would be covered in white. The trails and the grass would be nestled under a blanket of snow, sleeping there to wait out the long, cold winter. By next spring, lots of things would have changed. The graves that Sam had dug would be gone, washed smooth by the melting snow. The camp that the men had left by the Wind River would be gone, too, swept away by the river when it filled and melted with melted snow and roared down the canyon. Then things would be like they were when Adam first came here. Everything except rough. Adam knew that if he didn't get better before the cold set in, chances were he wouldn't last the winter. And winter in Wyoming Territory didn't wait for anyone or anything. "Looks like a snow's building," Sam said early that evening. He pointed with his pipe to the dark gray clouds that moved in and out between the tall mountain peaks to the north. Adam nodded. Then he went back to rocking in the chair on the porch. He knew Sam was right about the snow. Inside, it made him feel sad, knowing this might be this last evening he and Sam could sit on the porch and look out across their land. Ruff, still skinny and weak-looking, sat between them. Sam put his pipe down and petted the pup. "Glad I got them new sod blocks in place for this snow. This one'll probably stick till next spring." Adam rubbed his leg. It had healed nicely, but the muscle was still sore where the bullet had torn through. "You reckon Mother'll let me go trapping with you this winter?" he asked. Sam smiled. "I don't reckon she'll have much say in it. Trapping is a man's business, and if a couple of men want to go trapping, I don't reckon it matters much what a woman's got to say about it." "What was that?" Mother teased from the doorway. "Something about women not having a say?" Sam ducked his head. Nothing, just talking." Mother walked out and stood in front of them. She had the material Sam had brought back from Cheyenne. Still smiling, she unfolded it and held it up in front of him. "I've tried every way I can figure to see a dress pattern." She shook her head. "Only I can't see a way on earth to cut it out without having at least 4 holes shining through it." She shook it out. Adam could see the lines in it where it had been folded tight so Sam could carry it under his arm. He could also see the holes where the bullet, meant for Sam, had ripped through it. Mother shook her head and folded it back. "Reckon I could make Lori a dress out of it. Then I'll still have enough to make you and Adam a couple of shirts." She sighed and shook her head. "Still wish that fella hadn't shot a hole in my new dress material." Sam laughed. "Suppose you would have rather he shot a hole in me." Mother scolded him for saying something like that. Only she wasn't mad. She leaned down and kissed him on the cheek. Then she sat down on his lap. Lori must have been watching from inside because Mother had just sat down when she came running out and jumped into Mother's lap. Sam groaned. "One of you two is getting fat," he teased. "You reckon this old chair can hold all 3 of us?" "You're just getting soft," Mother smiled. She reached down and gave him a playful swat. Adam was laughing, watching them, when he saw Ruff. All of a sudden, the pup's head came straight up. His nose twitched from side to side, picking up something on the late evening breeze. Then, like he'd never been the least bit weak or sick, he sprang to his feet and rushed from the porch. "What on earth?" Mother began. "I didn't know that dog had that much life in him." Ruff's trail cry wasn't as strong and clear as before he got hurt, but he was baying good and loud and headed for the log bridge. Adam jumped to his feet. Then he saw her then, big, strong. Her brown hair tipped with silver. She stood by the stand of tall pines just on the other side of the Jenny Creek. "The mountain lion," he shouted. "Look, Sam, the one I told you about, the one that saved Ruff and me from those 2 men. See her?" He pointed. "There, by the trees." Ruff went flying across the yard and over the log bridge. Before Adam knew it, he was down off the porch and chasing after the dog. "That a boy, Ruff," Adam called. "Run her up the tree. Hold her there, boy." "Adam, you come back here," Mother screamed. Only Adam didn't hear. Ruff was trailing again, just like he used to. He was going to be all right. "Trailing his adopted mother," Sam laughed. Mother set Lori off her lap and started after him, but Sam caught her on the waist and pulled her back. "Leave the boy be," he said. "He's all right." "But that mountain lion," she whined, "that's the one he said killed those men. If she's killed before, she's liable to—" "She won't hurt them," Sam shushed her. "Not those 2. "How do you know?" she demanded. "How do you know she won't hurt them?" Sam smiled and shook his head. "I know mountain lions. There ain't a cat alive that would stick as close to people as that one does to us. She's been around here ever since I brought that pup home to Adam, and the only time I ever heard tell of mountain lions attacking a man was if they was cornered or hurt." He raised an eyebrow. "Or protecting their cubs." Mother turned to him with a puzzled frown. "What on earth are you talking about, Sam? Remember that cave where I told you I found the pup?" "Yes." "Well, I went back there day before yesterday." He pointed to where Adam and Ruff had chased the mountain lion up the trees. "That's where her den is. That pup I found for Adam is hers." "What?" Mother gasped. Sam shrugged. "Way I got it figured she must have lost her own litter soon after they was born. Somehow she found the pup young enough to be nursing and took him for her own. But how? Mother wondered. Hard telling. He could have been dropped off one of the wagon trains that cut over Salters Pass, or his mama could have been wild and something happened to her out here in the mountains. Shoot, that cat could have stolen him from a farmhouse up 100 miles from here. I've heard tell of animals losing their babies and stealing a young one from some other animal. He shook his head. I don't really know how it happened or why. Only thing I do know for sure is that the cave where I took Ruff from is her den. Has been her den for years. Signs are thick around it. She thinks that's her cub, and she keeps an eye on him to make sure no harm comes his way. They sat staring out across the valley, listening and wondering. Adam finally caught up to Ruff. He followed the pup's voice for less than a mile when he heard the pitch change and knew that Ruff had the cat treed. When he reached him, he saw Ruff leaping against the tall pine like he was trying to climb right up it. He was barking for all he was worth. Only when Adam got there, there was nothing. The tree was empty. The mountain lion was gone. Outfoxed you again, didn't she, pup? He patted Ruff on the head. The red pup wagged his tail and leaped up on Adam's side, trying to lick him in the face. Cut that out, Adam scolded. He really didn't mean it, though. A cold gust of wind came whistling from the north. Adam felt a flake of snow against his cheek. He looked up and saw that the gray clouds were rolling down off the mountains, bringing the snowstorm Sam had talked about. Come on, Ruff, we best be heading home. Lori saw them coming. She rushed out to greet them, just the other side of the log bridge. When Ruff saw her, he wagged his tail and charged off to meet her. When she saw how fast his long, lolloping legs brought him racing toward her, Lori tried to brace herself, but it didn't do much good, though. He went crashing into her and sent her tumbling, and she landed on her seat all huffed up and mad-looking. You darned old pup, she scolded. You don't quit knocking me down all the time. I'm gonna... She never got to finish, because now that Ruff had her down to his level, he could lick her face. He'd bounce in and give her a wet lick, then bounce away before she could swing at him. Before long, she got to squealing and laughing, and Ruff got to bouncing and wagging his tail even more than before. Adam stopped on the log bridge that crossed Jenny Creek. A warm smile came to his lips as he watched their crazy, playful antics. He heard himself chuckle. Beyond them, he could see Mother and Sam on the porch. They were laughing so hard he could see their stomachs bounce, even from out here. You're such a lucky one, he told himself. Got yourself a whole family, a sister to play with, a mother to take care of you and love you, a good dog, and Sam, a father that's every bit as good as your real dad was. He walked across the bridge, and when he got to the other side, he paused and looked up. Thank you, he said. Then, as if remembering, he turned back to the trees where the mountain lion had gone. Thank you, too.